Well, the first day of summer, it is just a couple of weeks away, and already temperatures are soaring in the city of Toronto, and so are the frustrations of tenant advocacy groups. They're calling on the city to implement a maximum temperature bylaw.
Mark McAllister joins us to explain how this would work. Mark.
Well, right now we're in Flemington Park in one of these, St. Jamestown, excuse me, one of the areas in the city where there are a number of apartment buildings, many of which have their own air conditioning units, but many do not. And so at this time of year, as the temperatures start to rise, it becomes sometimes unbearable for people in their apartments. And so this coalition that you spoke of had a press conference at City Hall this morning saying that we need to do something about it. Of course, city bylaws can say in the winter time, we can't let it get too cold in these apartments. However, the city at this point does not have any bylaws in effect to make sure that the temperatures in these apartments in fact stay cool, and they can get essentially too hot to bear. And so some of the asks, as you mentioned, is to make sure that the bylaw is in place to make sure that a temperature in those apartments be kept at 26 degrees or under that. They also want to implement a program to provide and install heat pumps and air conditioners in these apartments. What was interesting about this press conference this morning is that it's not just the tenant advocates that are coming forward. There were environmental groups also standing right next to them saying that the problem that we have right now in our city today and with climate change is making things that much worse, and something needs to be done now.
We can't wait anymore, right? Like air conditioning is no longer a luxury. We really need to ensure that people are cool in their own spaces, because if it isn't, then unfortunately there are serious health effects, including deaths. And so, yeah, we're hoping that that this coalition, this amazing coalition here, will be able to convince City Council that now is the time to take bold and direct action to ensure that we actually have cooling in spaces and that people are protected even in the short term if there is a massive heat wave that occurs in this city this year.
So what is interesting is that City Council has already been trying to deal with this. Just last year, a motion came forward saying that we need to actually implement a bylaw, but it has been stuck in red tape at this point. There was supposed to be some recommendations earlier this year. They haven't come forward yet. I spoke with Councillor Shelley Carroll not too long ago at City Hall, and she said that at this point, they said that there's some difficulties in that they're not keeping data on the number of 311 calls that are being made related to this issue specifically. And so they need to start gathering that data before they can put the rules in place. And so it won't be until next summer before anything actually happens.
Doesn't really help tenants in the meantime. Yeah, our Mark McAllister, appreciate that update. Thank you so much for that.